I'm Joseph Patrick, co-founder of Lamont Brothers. And in today's video, I want to address some of the top questions about adding a second story addition onto your home. First, why should you consider doing an addition on top of your home as opposed to doing something else? Well, the first couple reasons are often because of the lot size. It makes more sense to utilize the existing footprint and go up versus going out. Either setback constraints are too tight, or you want to save your existing yard space, your existing landscaping and outdoor entertaining space, and not take that up with an addition. The other reason could be that the connection to your inside interior living space makes more sense to connect it with a stairway and go up with a whole separate unit, as opposed to doing a wing of the house with extra bedrooms or something like that. So what should I look at my home to determine how feasible this is? First, you should look at general city planning requirements, and the easy way to do this is drive around your neighborhood and see if there are any homes built reasonably close to yours that are as high as you want to go. If they're there, then you're probably okay. You can also look on the city's website or call the city planning office to determine what's the height requirements in my neighborhood. Am I okay going as high as I want to go? The second thing you should look at is the engineering requirements, and these are broken into two categories: your gravity loads, which are gravity putting force down on the building, and your lateral loads, which are the wind and earthquakes and other things pushing on the building to have it collapse like that. For gravity loads, what you're looking at is the footings. Pre-1940s, some of the homes here in the Portland metro area do not have a footing at all. That can make adding a second story pretty challenging. Post-1940s, often we've got footings, which makes it much easier, but still we're probably choosing a wall inside the home and coming down all the way through the home into the crawl space of the basement and pouring a new footing to take some of the load that would sometimes go to the exterior of the wall, but carry that load down on the inside of the home and put a new footing there in the crawl space of the basement. Second, the lateral, again, it's more challenging on an older home because a lot of the older turn-of-the-century homes don't have any sheathing underneath the siding, because the way that you prevent houses collapsing this way is shear panels in the exterior or interior walls that are normally constructed out of plywood and a lot of nails to kind of hold it firm as any type of force is put onto the home. And so, often what we're doing with these earlier homes is tearing all the siding off, adding sheathing, creating shear walls, and then we can add a second story. If we're looking at a newer home, often we've got siding, shear walls in the siding, and what we're going to have to do is we're going to maybe in isolated areas go in and add shear capacity to certain areas, and that's going to do enough to enable us to add the second story on the home. So what are the different types of two-story additions that we'll typically do? The first one is a dormer addition. This is where we'll leave the existing roof line, take a section of it, and bring it out of the roof line, either with a gable dormer or a shed roof dormer, or there are plenty of others. There's Nantucket dormers, and there's different options, and it will give you a little bit of extra space. The advantage is that it makes the engineering much more simple. Often, if we can keep it under a certain width, we can avoid having to do any lateral engineering at all. The disadvantage is it's not that much extra space. Really, you're taking from wherever your usable room is right now out to the exterior wall and using that. That's your addition of extra space, which sometimes is enough to make it worth it, sometimes doesn't make it worth doing the project. The second one is a partial two-story addition. This is where we're going to take part of the home, tear that whole section of roof off, add a second story there, new roof on top, and tie that into the existing roof structure. This makes sense often when our requirements for doing the project are only add a couple of bedrooms or only add a bonus room where we don't need to double the size of the home, we just want a little bit of extra space. The third type is tear the entire roof off and do a full second-story addition. This is where we really want to double the size of the home or add a pretty significant amount of square footage to the home. And often what'll make sense to do this is if we're going to add multiple bedrooms and a bathroom and a master suite, and then redo the main floor plan to expand the kitchen and make the living space bigger. Often when we do these, we do combine them with first-story renovations, because when you add that much square footage to a home, you really often want to change the floor plan on the main level. Now let's look at what some of the different projects cost. For a dormer addition, the cost can range a fair amount depending on the size of the dormer, because you can do a full side of a home, but you're going to see probably not much less than about $75,000, and that ranges probably up to around $200,000, and this is here in the Portland metro area. For the partial home additions, these are generally not much less than about $250,000, and they can range upwards to $400,000. A lot of it is depending on what's going inside the addition. Are we doing bathrooms, no bathrooms, master suite, standard bathroom, and how big? You know, a partial could be anywhere from 300 or 400 square feet to 800 square feet, and that's going to change the cost pretty significantly. If we're going to do a full, tear the entire roof off and add a second story, that's going to end up being typically somewhere upwards of $400,000 and above. And as a note, these types of renovations typically cost more than expanding out on the main level. So how long does a project like this take? Well, when you're working with a design build firm like us, your design time is going to probably take 3 to 5 months. There's a significant amount of design work that goes into a project like this, and engineering, and even investigation. You should expect your contractor or design build firm to come out to the home. They may want to excavate your footings to determine what's there. Normally we just do a spot excavation, not invasive at all. Or they may want to do some other investigation to figure out what's happening from an engineering perspective during the design process. So that's typically 3 to 5 months. Then to get permits, you're talking anywhere from about 1 month to 6 months. And that really depends on the jurisdiction and if your firm you're working with is in the FIR program in Portland. We've got a whole other video that discusses the FIR program and why that's a good idea, but that's when you get those short design to permit timelines. Then your construction process itself is going to take anywhere from about 5 to 9 months, depending on the scale of the remodel. Thanks for watching. For more helpful info about home remodeling process and costs, subscribe to our YouTube channel here or check out our website linked below. Thank you very much.